Once upon a time, there were 4 brothers living in a cabin in the woods. And every day, they each did their chores. Bobby went fishing, Billy went hunting, Bartholomew went to the grocery store in town because he had an addiction to high fructose corn syrup. Frederick, he was just sort of around. So Billy, Bobby, Bartholomew, and Frederick. Their parents died when they were very young, just shortly after Frederick was born. They went to live in this forest. It was their father's cabin. They had inherited it. Bobby and Billy, being of over 18 at the time, they split the deed, so they each own half. Bartholomew didn't technically own anything, and Frederick he's useless, basically. One day, Bartholomew didn't come back from the store. Billy brought back fish. Bobby did whatever Bobby does. Frederick was around, useless, just around. Bartholomew didn't come home. It worried the other boys. They hadn't been in town in a long time. Bartholomew went every day, so he was the only one that went. He never needed company, and anything that anyone ever needed, they would just tell Bartholomew, and Bartholomew would go get it. So they were wondering, should they wait, or should they go into town? Should they risk it? I mean, Bartholomew took the car, so they'd have to walk, but they're fit from all the hunting and fishing and not doing anything because you're useless. They decided to walk into town. They walked into town. They didn't see the bear as it approached, and it mauled Frederick. Billy and Bobby ran faster because they didn't really care about Frederick, and he died a horrible, painful death, slowly bleeding out as the bear gnawed at his entrails. But Billy and Bobby made it into town, and they flagged down a police officer and asked him if he had seen Bartholomew, and he had. He had been arrested the night before for public drunkenness. Turns out that he had met a girl. She was super into karaoke, and he went with her to karaoke, where he got incredibly wasted on tequila. And well, I guess the lime doesn't really help with the intoxication, but that was his sustenance. That was his dinner. He had tequila and then lime. Lime's a fruit, right? So that totally counts. He was being healthy. I mean, this is his brain. He just doesn't know. His parents are dead and he's growing up in the forest. Anyway, so Bartholomew, his brothers picked him up at the police station and took him home. They got his Bartholomew's car impound because whatever. Billy and Bobby took Bartholomew back. They passed the place where Frederick died on the side of the road, and they picked through his remains and carried the largest chunks that were left from post-bear attack. They put them in the trunk. They had a plastic bag, so it didn't really stain anything, or the smell was okay. They took the remains of Frederick back to the cabin. They had a little ceremony and buried him in the backyard. It was very sweet, but as none of the other brothers really liked Frederick, and Frederick really didn't contribute anything to their little... They just moved on with their time and day, and there was no emotional attachment or emotional... It's just sort of a window into their lives. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I don't know. To